on.
Cut you off with the intro there. Welcome, everybody. We've got HeartWifDog, who is more than just a meme coin. He's got an entire anime / manga collection on PulseChain. He's an artist, and it's pretty entertaining. He's got basically cartoons of everybody on PulseChain, and it's very fascinating. Slap the meme coin on there because, of course, it's crypto. And in the background, I think you can see it there. Why don't you introduce yourself and tell people what you've been working on?
Yeah, hey, thanks so much for having us on Crypto Coffee. It's awesome to be here. Very, very excited to be on, one of the biggest, if not the biggest, personalities in the whole, ecosystem, besides Richard Hart, of course. But currently streaming, it's definitely you and probably Somi as well, the two top dogs. So very excited to be on here. And yeah, I'm really excited to share with everyone what we're doing, what we're creating. It's a little bit different to any other project in PulseChain ecosystem, which a lot of them DeFi. You've got just your traditional sort of meme with a lot of humor and memes, and we kind of wanted to do something a little bit different where we could bring in all the different personalities into PulseChain and make them even larger than life in a story. And I think PulseChain is the only chain you could really make that work, because there's just so many content creators, over 170 content creators. You don't find that with any other chain. It's the pound for pound content creation, chain. And that's even when the prices are so far down, which is amazing. So imagine what it's like when the prices go up. We're going to have even more personalities, and there's always people coming in. I think Richard Hart attracts that like trailblazer personality, that person who just wants to come in and set the world alight and make their own path, and they think a little bit differently. They're kind of against the status quo. And yeah, it's been really fun to just bring out this story, and we're only in early stages so far. So we're at chapter 10, and there's plans for well over 100 chapters. And yeah, it's really exciting. So thanks for having me on.
Yeah. So it's a YouTube channel. If you guys want to follow HeartWifDog, it's in the description below. Very entertaining. You might notice some Twitter or YouTube personalities kind of in this manga form, and it's pretty awesome. You can watch them. It's animated with voice acting, and it takes a lot of work. So we've got so many creative people in PulseChain. Just wanted to kind of see what you were up to, because I don't think we've ever met formally, but I've seen all of your stuff. I've watched a couple episodes. Of course, it's captivating. It makes PulseChain fun. It tells the story. It makes it larger than life, and it turns heads. I really think, I respect anybody doing something unique and artistic, and this is just one of many creators we've got. So yeah, how'd you get into PulseChain? What do you think about where we're at right now?
Yeah, so it's quite interesting. Last cycle, it really wasn't on my radar, HEX or PulseChain. I had one mate who was kept trying to get me, to take a look. And I remember he sent me one video where Richard Hart, I think he was just talking about his diamond and his watch collection for the first 10 minutes, and I just turned it off, to be honest. And I guess that might be an experience for some other people. I don't have this experience where I heard Richard Hart speak for 30 seconds and then I was all in. It was a little bit more of a slow burn for me. So I kind of just, I was like, oh, no, bro, I'm good over here. And, I was into a lot of the other sort of layer ones. I was into a lot of gaming, NFTs last cycle. And then the cycle before that, I was, basically just Bitcoin, XRP, and Ethereum, and a few other random coins that were back around in 2017. But yeah, I got involved in PulseChain after the PulseChain sacrifice, but before the PulseX sacrifice. So I did sacrifice for PulseX, sacrifice for freedom of movement, freedom of speech, all these great things that
freedom of gains.
Freedom of gains, exactly. We don't get much freedom here in Australia, so you take what you can get.
That's what I hear. That's what it looks like on the news.
Yeah, I'm probably American at heart, and it sucks. I served in the Australian military and did a few overseas operations. And yeah, it's a bit sad to see the state that we're in at the moment. But I digress. I'm probably not here to talk.
Well, I think a lot of countries are going through something similar. I call it frogs in boiling water. It's a slow taking away of your rights, and crypto is one of those few things that gives you that freedom. You could buy whatever you want as long as the other person accepts whether it's Ethereum or whatever. I mean, the stablecoin bill has kind of got me down a little bit with the crippling of stablecoins. It's like, fuck, one step forward, two steps back. But we can still push crypto, and I think it's still the way out in the long run.
Exactly right. And at some stage, probably Bitcoin's going to be a lot less volatile. It's going to probably be like pretty much just track the S&P 500 exactly. And at that stage, maybe it's worth, even in the bear markets, not completely getting out of crypto and just sort of sticking to some of the top assets, and then once you sort of had those 8 monthly red candles in a row, then getting back into risk on and accumulating positions that you have a lot of long-term faith in. So that could be the way forward. I definitely don't want to be holding any USDC or USDT, that's for sure.
Yeah, not if you don't have to. But then it's like, well, what's going to happen to DAI? I really just kind of hope and pray they don't make decentralized stablecoins illegal. But we'll see, because we've got a whole bunch of them on PulseChain, and I want them to be used. Because they're designed for the people. They have no middleman. There's no central issuer, right? They're backed by your own assets. Exactly. But anyway, there's other more positive stuff to focus on. I think Bitcoin as well, like you mentioned, is kind of getting the stranglehold on it from the centralized entities. They're squeezing all the volatility out. The banks are already in. They're the only ones left to sell it to you. And they're going to make trading fees on the ETFs. So it's just not appealing anymore, especially when you've got just people begging and cheering for these centralized middlemen, and for their 2x little gains, where you can get anything, you can get better in anything else, even Ethereum. And a lot more power. Yeah.
The evolution of Bitcoin holders has really changed since I got in, and then even before that, from when Richard got in, when it was there was nothing to go on, just pure faith. There was no one was saying it was ever going to get to where it is now. And now that we're here, like you said, people just want that 2x so desperately, they're willing to bend over and basically just suck off BlackRock and every other entity in order to get their gains, and they don't care at what cost for the greater industry and what we really, a lot of us got into crypto at the start for.
Yeah, well, it's like Bitcoin paved the way, and congrats to all the early buyers. People are here looking for gains, and they're looking for some extra freedom, and you don't really even have that. If you want to buy Bitcoin at this point, you're not going to get the gains, but you also have to buy it from a centralized entity. It's slow. It's most people just leave it on exchanges. They don't even know to get a Bitcoin wallet. You can't do anything with it. You can't really make yield on it and stuff in a DeFi type of way. So that's what got me interested in things like Ethereum and HEX and just alternatives. You said you were in Ripple and kind of more like the generic. Before you found HEX and PulseChain, you were kind of everywhere, right?
Yeah, I was a bit all over the place. And I would say I never really felt like in a home till I got to PulseChain. Everything else to me was just a speculative investment, or just, complete lottery ticket almost. Until PulseChain, I was like, oh my God, this community is so strong, regardless of where price is. What they're building is incredible. I love, everything they stand for. I can see the vision of the founder, and I hadn't even really considered creating a project until I got into PulseChain. I was like, oh my God, this is a place where I'd love to plant my flag and build something fun. My idea is that I can hopefully bring in people outside of PulseChain through the Manga story as well. And that's why I've included personalities outside of PulseChain. I've included different NFT communities in the story now. And a lot of them are now holders in PulseChain, and obviously my token as well. And then also bring in, really known people the latest chapter has Conor McGregor in it. And I don't think you'll find many people on the planet who don't know who he is. A lot of people love him. A lot of people hate him. He's very polarizing, which is like the perfect kind of character to put into a story. So you definitely have to check that one out. It's not on YouTube yet. It is. It's on my pinned post on my on X. So.
And if people want to follow you on X, just for the record, it is at HeartWifDog. So give him a follow as well. Yeah, you mentioned the NFT community. What do you know about that? I'm a bit newer to NFTs.
Yeah, so I got involved in NFTs like halfway through last cycle. Unfortunately, I probably lost more money on NFTs than anything else, to be honest. I made some good moves. I bought a Bored Ape early, but then I sold it for like 1 ETH profit when it was like at like 3 ETH floor price. Then I bought a Mutant and sort of did the same thing when that came out. And I had made like some serious profits from like I got into Cardano at like ADA at 3 cents, I think, and sold it almost at the top and a bunch of other tokens as well. But the mistake I made was I then took some of that fiat that I already taken profit on and also paid taxes, thankfully, and recycled it into NFTs and bought the top of a lot of NFT projects and a lot of NFT projects that just had these huge roadmaps because so many NFT projects back then just had these huge roadmap runways. We're going to do a TV series where we've got toys coming out. We got this, and promising the world and like delivering nothing. And because it is the easiest way to generate money if you just do a huge NFT mint and you sell, 10,000 NFTs for, just, a few $100s, or some of them were, $1,000 right off the rip. If you do a Dutch auction or something like that, build a lot of hype, you can make a lot of money in just one instant off an NFT mint. And then they do the whole slow rug, like just, oh yeah, we're working on things, we're doing things, and then it just slowly dies. And then in the bear market, everyone forgets about it, everyone leaves, everyone goes touch grass every day. And yeah, so I've had a bit of a mixed experience with NFTs, but the projects that I am still involved with now, they actually built in the bear, and they've done really well, not in terms of price, but in terms of just building things out, building new products, building out a community, and making it work. So yeah, I'll give a shout out to Project Gojira, Jira-sans. I'm big into them and love them and love what they've done. So I'll give them a bit of a quick shout out there.
Cool. Yeah, with NFTs, it was it was all a house of cards. Crypto, it doesn't matter if you're holding coins, meme coins, NFTs. In the last cycle, when it dropped, it dropped. But with NFTs, there's so low liquidity because they're on some kind of an auction schedule. They're not traded on, a liquidity pool. So you might have bidders on the way up, and then you bid the thing from like 1 ETH to maybe 10, and then when the floor falls out, then the only bidder left to buy it goes all the way back down to like less than 1 ETH, and so you don't have even a gradual step down. You don't have the luxury of a gradual step. You just get a straight line crash, and it's wrecked people, but there are people that survived. I think I don't hear much about Bored Ape Yacht Club anymore. I know Pudgy Penguins. That was just lightning in a bottle with that one. I never would have predicted it. But yeah, anyone that's going to stand the test of time, we'll see, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think the ones you mentioned, I know Bored Ape, they're doing something new on their chain, on Ape Chain at the moment. But yeah, they've probably dropped the ball a little bit in terms of what the expectations were set for their holders versus what they actually delivered. Yeah.
That's what I hear with their Discord channel. Allegedly it's dead. I was never a part of it, but maybe you were more adjacent. What about HOG, man? What about NFTs for HOG? What's
At this stage, there's no plan for it. I'm not really that interested.
I feel it would kind of be perfect. It would kind of be ideal.
It could be. It's just, I kind of really want to just smash out the story first and build, really reward all the loyal holders first and, get them some serious gains. Then we can worry about, maybe doing an NFT project. If we did it, I'd say it'd probably be a free airdrop. like for holders to reward them.
Yeah.
And then we could just see where the floor goes from there. But yeah, you're right. It is a good project for NFTs. It's very NFT.
Maybe one day, when you get so successful that you're selling merch and making deals, and NFTs can go to loyal holders that were there with you at the beginning.
Yeah, well, it's funny actually you mentioned. I'm playing around with a few designs for some gym clothing for HOG, because it's like a lot of his manga shots are very like gym anime style. Like they just work really well. And I was thinking of even putting on like a QR code on the back, like a small one. So when someone's at the gym and they see this big print on the back, and it's like #1 manga project in crypto on the #1 chain, PulseChain. Like click here, just go here to find out more, and then it could have like the little QR code, take them to the website or deck screener or whatever. But I thought it'd be a fun like little marketing way, and could probably even just make it a limited edition, and then just give 100 singlets or shirts out to PulseChain fan.
Those are tank tops, everybody. Singlets. Yes.
Oh yeah, you got the tank tops. Yeah.
My American audience, no, I'm sure we got a wide mix. That's the cool thing about crypto, global audience. And a lot of people like anime. A lot of people like cartoons and manga. And there's probably new communities to tap into, new people that are outside of crypto that would be interested in a thing like this, right?
I definitely think so. I think there's a lot of things that could attract someone into PulseChain, whether it's it's yield, whether it's a lot of the more DeFi tax tokens like PDGC, something like that could really bring people in. Just the community itself. You've got amazing projects like yourself with Top Hat that see people coming in. They have a little like play around with that bot and put the top hat on themselves. Have fun with it.
You like it? Do you like it?
Yeah, I do. I really do. Cool. I think it's great.
Yeah, I'm thinking about ways, obviously everyone's thinking about ways to pump their bags, and that's just kind of a fun little thing. You can go slap a top hat on anybody, slap one on Barack Obama for all we care. Like it might turn some heads. It's just something to do. I saw the Mogbot do it, and I just had to steal that idea. But yeah, I think the chart's looking pretty good for Top Hat right now. It's a little shameless self-promotion. How's the HOG chart looking? Not to compare dick sizes.
Well, it's funny. It's good timing when you did that trough pick today for comparing dick sizes. So, where the guy just comes up to the right, like stands right next to him.
Dude, I opened my feed today, and it's just nothing but strategic reserve. I think we care more about the strategic reserve than Ethereum does. Like I am fully convinced. Like I swear to God, PulseChain stole Ethereum's marketing team. I don't see any of this energy over on Ethereum. Maybe I'm wrong. When the price starts going back up again, it'll be.
Well, they are just a test net for PulseChain, so it kind of makes sense.
Savage burn from Richard Hart.
Yeah. So I think we're up maybe 5%. No, 3.38% today. Not much of a pump. The volume is a bit up on HOG. So yeah, we're definitely off the lows. Yeah. Low liquidity,
but not too low, not
too low compared to the market cap. Like probably like ratio wise, it's pretty healthy there. But yeah, the outlook looks good for the future. I think for both projects.
Do token holders get any kind of special rewards or like
So probably I would say in about 5 chapters time, there's a few chapters where there's a lot of wiggle room to insert different characters and play around with the arc a little bit. So what I want to do is have the top 100 holders do a little bit of almost like a giveaway, but anyone can just nominate themselves. And the winner will get to actually write their own character, whoever they want. So it could be from another token they hold. It could be from an NFT they hold. It could be themselves, like their actual like real life avatar into the story. And they can basically dictate how it goes. They can't kill HOG, obviously. They can't just go Game of Thrones. There are rules. There's limits to how much license they can have in the
Well, what
in the
about an
story.
antagonist? Can you bring in a villain like maybe Mr. Charles Hoskinson or something like that?
He's
I don't
already
know.
written into the story, actually.
Oh, of course, of course. I guess I haven't gotten
Yeah,
that far.
yeah, he is written into the story. He comes in about 5 or 6 chapters, I believe.
Okay.
He's not a super threatening villain, which is not really his
this is
personality doesn't make him a very threatening villain. So
this
there's some
is
more
true.
threatening villains along the way. I do want to actually create some PulseChain villains. So I put uh, how do you say TGNT or Tangent from
Tangent.
yeah, Tangent. Yeah, I put Tangent into the story. He's like 2 chapters back, where so he's a villain in the story, but he's going to have a pretty cool arc. It's not. I think he's a villain that people will sometimes cheer for. You know, so kind of
Yeah.
like that kind of style, like
Like you think
bit
he's
of
a
a
villain, but he's really a hero in the end or something. I don't want to spoil it.
maybe not a hero, maybe closer to like an anti-hero or something like that. Like, would you call John Wick's not really a hero, is he? But everyone cheers for him.
Oh, right.
So,
Okay. Okay.
yeah, okay, yeah. So he did kill Hexy Bastard though. So I don't know if I just spoiled that for that chapter for you, but
Yeah, you did, but that's
sorry.
okay.
Go back and watch it anyway. It's
Yeah.
you or watch it in a few months when you've forgotten that I spoiled it.
Yeah.
But
Cool, man. I just like this. I think it turns heads. It just it's a showcase of the creative types of people we've got on here. And have you been making art and anime for a while?
so I've been writing the story for a long time, like since over a year ago, and yeah, I don't do the final the drawing of the panels. I'm not that good. I do all the story. I do all the dialogue. I do the storyboarding. So like rough drawings of what's in every panel, and which is basically like stick figures of just like this person goes here. This is the background that I want here, and then I've got an amazing artist from Argentina who gets it all done, makes it look beautiful. He's very intuitive. He doesn't really know anything about crypto, but he loves the project now, and yeah, he's exceptional, an exceptional talent. Because it took me a really, really long time to find the right manga artist for this.
Yeah, well, he's pretty good. I mean, everything looks very well professionally done. Who does the voices? They're all in Japanese.
Yeah. So it's a bit of a mix. I've got a couple of like voice actors that I got through Upwork, and I rotate a few of them. There's one guy I use only one guy for HOG, so it's the same throughout, and he's a guy who actually specializes in impersonating Satoru Gojo of Jujutsu Kaisen.
Not sure.
If you're not familiar with that anime, anyway, if anyone is on here who watches anime, they definitely will know.
I guarantee somebody in the chat.
Anime, someone knows. I think I've actually sseen a few people in PulseChain with like a Satoru Gojo. He's got like the white hair, the the blindfold around the eyes.
Oh, okay.
So, I've seen a few people with PFPs of him in PulseChain, so he's definitely known. But yeah, he does the voice actor for that. I got a guy on Fiverr who specializes in impersonating Conor McGregor's voice, because for Conor McGregor, I didn't want a Japanese voice. I was like, what a waste. Like the way he talks is so iconic, you fucking do nothing, like that kind of thing. I got a guy who just like, some of you might not be able to tell the difference. Like he probably thought it was like a Conor McGregor AI bot or something like that, but it's a real guy who's doing the impersonation and did.
Well, you could probably just go find an Irish dude that's in the PulseChain and just hit him up.
Yeah, throw him a few whiskeys, a few beers, and then start getting them to go off their head.
Get them talking.
Yeah, get them talking, get them riled up. Yeah, exactly.
Well, yeah, we're all just coming up with stuff to do, throwing shit at the wall and seeing what sticks. And in the bear market, everyone's still building in PulseChain, so it's only a matter of time. I'm still pretty bullish for the future. Obviously, how are you feeling about the outlook and everything? You letting it get to you?
No. I've got enough things in my life to sort of help me break away from it and not completely obsess over it. I think the fact that I'm constantly in creative mode in terms of building the story and that kind of stuff, that helps me not focus too much on being obsessed on, small time frames in the charts. I'm still looking at the charts every day, but I'm not obsessing over it. It's not keeping me up at night. I've got an 8-month-old daughter to help me do that. So
that helps distract you for sure.
Yeah, exactly. And 10 minutes to the beach. I'm active every day. Going to the gym. I've got lots of mates around me, and so I feel like the outlook's good. I feel like the fact that we have just been gatekept for so long. Once it just takes that one exchange to give us a shot, and then I think the floodgates open, and I think all the other exchanges start to get FOMO and go, oh no, we don't want to miss out on all that volume. This person's done it, so now it gives them permission to do it. No one ever wants to be the first. So I think once we get that one, things are going to fly. And then obviously all the meme coins on PulseChain, all other coins, their leverage on that, just as PulseChain is leverage on Ethereum. The slingshot effect's going to be insane. I think like we might be one of the later ones to run, but we're probably going to be the stronger ones. I'd honestly rather be the big dog in the real bull year as opposed to being Solana last year where they led the halvening year. I think it's better to be the leader this year and potentially even start of next year, depending when we start this full run and when we run into, do we get a reset halfway and then get a second wave that's even bigger? Who knows? I think you've just got to sort of listen to the market.
Nobody does know for sure, obviously, but I like what Arthur Hayes has been saying with the extended cycle. I'm not as committed to the 4-year cycle anymore because it really is different, and the institutions are in this time, and they pumped Bitcoin early. We might see, money printing go into 26, maybe even 27, 28. Maybe this time is totally different, and we're relying way too much on. When you think about it, we've only got a sample set of 3 cycles or 4 cycles with Bitcoin, and it's like that's not that many data points. So at some point it's going to break. And you mentioned exchanges. I was just thinking that OKX actually listed us already at one point. So I would not be surprised to see them just relist us because they can now, because it's the legal certainty. We beat the SEC, and that's all it's going to take for other exchanges to follow suit. But even so, like even in a land without centralized exchanges at all, like I'm just imagining 7K Ethereum and just how good everybody's going to feel, and how ready to spend their money on other stuff they're going to feel. Because you remember back in March 2024, that was a little taste of it. But we had Ethereum. Everyone thought it was going to break out. Even Richard bought the top, thinking it was a breakout. Allegedly, maybe not. The sacrifice wallet, bought into ETH at 3,700, and it's down, sure, but like in the long run, it's gonna blast past the all-time high eventually, which was about 5K. And just imagine when we get there. Oh, it's gonna be glorious. I'm gonna be wiping my face with green candles everywhere. Hey, Wild SJ in the chat. Hello there, Australia mate. The chat likes you.
Oh, awesome! I love the chat. Oh, Kicks.
Is that your
name? All
Rob?
people. Yeah, Rob is my name. Yeah, so that's Kicks. He's actually the guy who I was talking about when I said who introduced me to PulseChain. And
okay.
Yes. So he was the guy who first sent me the Richard Hart video where I was like, oh nah, bro, like this guy's just talking about watch collections and a big ass diamond. No thanks. And thank him because he was persistent with me, and then he sent me some of your stuff. So I think the first 2 people I watched were you and Somi, and that's when I was like, okay, let's go. I'm down for this. I love this.
Nice. Glad to hear that. Yeah, Outrage Marketing Richard was a phase, and I think people that knew him before that, like I bought into the I'm not so sure if I was introduced to Richard at Rolex phase and Gucci phase, like maybe I wouldn't have seen through it. But ultimately, it was an IQ test for people that think, oh, he must be a scammer because he looks like one. He certainly looks like one. But, you could tell by what he's built that he's not going anywhere. He actually cares about being the best, right? If anything, just realize that his ego wants him to be the best. And so, you can bet on that.
And then so that got me in. But then I was like, okay, I'll give him another chance. And then you listen to him talk for over an hour and you're like, oh my God, like forget the showy stuff behind that. This guy is a genius.
Smart dude.
And, I heard him, just absolutely rinse people on debates. And I was like, this guy is amazing. And that's all off the top of his dome. It's not like he's not reading off a script. Like anyone can do that and come off, really intelligent with all the time in the world. But he's just, free flowing. It's all just coming. He's just downloading everything right then and there. And it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's cool. And when he's ready to do debates again, like, it'd be really nice to see him with the Joe Rogan or Kanye West or anybody famous, anybody of notoriety. In fact, go hit up that Rackham guy if you know anybody famous, people, because I think he's actually interested in setting something up. The only thing preventing it for him from being live, I believe, is Interpol, because when you do a live stream, people can trace your location. That might cause some issues. He seems to have no problem doing recorded videos, and it only seems like a matter of time as well before his lawyers clear his name from Interpol. But people talk about live streaming and stuff. I think it's because it's easy to triangulate where you are when you're live streaming.
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. Good shout out to Rackham too. Like, I think if anyone has contacts of high influence people outside of PulseChain, he's probably a good person to get in contact with, would you say, to try and bring them in? Because if any of us can bring any high profile people onto the chain, even if it's not for our token, it benefits the whole ecosystem. However they get in, they've got to bridge and get PLS to do it. So,
I mean, look at Sun Mini Meal token. That one came out of left field, and that was a real German company that makes nutrition bars. And they said they're going to put their rewards token on PulseChain. Now the thing's got $1 million of liquidity. It's. I'm like kind of regretting not buying it now because it went up 5x in the past week. I'm like, what the fuck?
That's crazy. I had no idea that it was an actual real nutrition company when I saw that name. I was like, oh, that's a weird crypto name, but that's amazing. They're doing some really cool things.
And I think they bring legitimacy. It's nice to see a real traditional company adopting blockchain for a real use case, and probably new people. I guess they've got somewhat of a following. I mean, assuming that's not just them buying their own token, but even if it is, I don't care. It's $1 million of liquidity.
Like, they bring volume. Yeah, exactly. Even if it is then.
It's kind of strange to see that one in the top pumpers today, but a win is a win. A green candle is a green candle. And then they also got a hookup with Banksa, which is really nice. Banksa is the on-ramp. And so you're going to be able to buy PLS very soon on Banksa with like $20,000 daily limits, and just with your credit card from a tiny widget. No need to open an exchange. I think those fiat on-ramps are sometimes even more important than exchanges.
I think they're great. And obviously, we want people to be taking, self-custody and, using a wallet, then putting in a cold wallet. But, just to get people on to start with, people who have never been in crypto, they might not even have a centralized exchange account with Binance or Coinbase or CoinSpot or any of those. That's it's a great way to just get them in, get them a taste for it, and then they can start to go through all your videos, start to go through the tutorials of how to bridge in, and then they can start to actually really become a part of it and educate themselves on good practices within crypto.
And there's just so many places to end up. There's so many little communities. Hell, you could end up in Dick with Butt and have a great time. Those guys meme like no other. The ones that meme the hardest are like the smallest tokens right now, like Dick with Bud or even ticker PulseChain. And
Turkey's got to be like the hardest worker in PulseChain with all his videos. They're so hilarious, man. He's a great guy. He's actually one of the first people I spoke to when I was first launching HeartWifDog, and I was like, oh man, like I'd love to get you in as a character. And we talked about like what he was into, and so. Knowing that he likes to blow stuff up in his videos, we were like, oh, well, let's make you an explosive expert in the story. And, it's just cool. And we chatted for ages just over the phone when we were first getting things going. And so he's a great guy. He's always supported us. And, can't speak any more good of that man.
Well, yeah, he certainly makes me laugh on the timeline, and I don't think I've ever spoke to him, but maybe I will one day if I'm lucky. And dude, just when retail comes back, it's like we're forgetting how dumb money just floods the market with liquidity. And I don't say that in a rude way, but there is retail dumb money that will come in and make all these tops, and it doesn't take that much money to move a meme coin with 40K liquidity or whatever. I don't know what yours has, $14,000 of buy side. Like, that's not that much in the grand scheme. And people, I mean, it's a lot, kind of a lot to ask for right now because it's PvP. Everyone's kind of trading amongst each other. Yes. We're getting new people in slowly, but man, retail is coming. It's like it's like that South Park when the dragons are coming, but they never come. I promise, retail is coming.
They're coming. Yeah. And it's funny when it really hits, people are just going to be in absolute shock. You know, people are still suffering from PTSD from the bear market. So when they're in that state, they don't want to allow themselves to be able to believe big enough because you know that they've been suffering for so long. It's hard to do. But you know, like you said, at one stage, retail is coming, and we're actually going to become the minority. Like it's going to be like 10% of we're going to be the 10%, and it's going to be 90% retail involved, and they're just going to be jumping on everything. They're going to have no PTSD. They're going to have no trauma. They're going to believe that they're going to be able to put $10,000 in and turn it into $1 million in a week, and God bless them.
Just keep an eye out for the misspelled Ethereum with an I, and when that search trend goes up on Google, you know they're coming. The hordes.
The hordes, exactly.
It's like the orcs from Lord of the Rings, you know.
Yeah. Sound the horn. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, a lot of you guys were here last year in March, and so we got a little taste. So you should know it's possible, and try to even just remember what that felt like when PulseChain was above sack rate. Yes, I know it was only 2 months long, but it was a good 2 months, and people were having fun, and of course we all should have taken more profit and whatever. But imagine that on steroids, and that's going to happen at some point in the future. It might not be so predictable as a 4-year cycle because Bitcoin has less importance now because it's been co-opted by the institutions now. I mean, the 4-year cycle is just based off of the happening, right? But now that institutions can basically long and short it and manipulate it with their own manipulated US dollar or whatever fiat currency, we might be on a different timeline. And so we have to be ready for, I think Sami talks about the liquidity cycle a lot, and I'm pretty much in line with that.
Yeah, they got to roll over the debt at some stage. So money printer has to eventually go brewer.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they just raised the debt ceiling by $4 trillion, which they just keep. It doesn't matter who's president. Like, they're always going to do this. It's inevitable.
Exactly. Like and they're always going to be looking for a way to gain more control. It doesn't matter if it's, right or the left. That's always going to be happening, and that's always going to be bullish for crypto because fiat is always going to become less. You're not going to be able to buy as much with it tomorrow as you did today, and that's just always the case.
Yeah, it's a sinking ship. Absolutely. Hope has a question. With every Ethereum pump, RH cores pump more as we witnessed. True. When ETH is at 5K, the cores will probably be some X's more. In this case, the Pulse Treasury, if ever buys the cores, won't be more greater than now. Do you understand this question? Am I reading this wrong?
In this case, the Pulse Treasury, if it ever buys the cores, the Treasury won't be more than what it is now.
There's no question mark here, so I'm like confused.
Yeah, I'm not completely across what the question is there.
I don't think the Treasury would even have, this is me going a little bulltard, but I think all the Treasury wallet would maybe even have to do would just be to bridge over a bunch of Ethereum as a signal. You almost don't even need it to buy because he's got all these other wallets that are, safe, or what do you call it? Private wallets moving through Tornado Cash. God knows how much Bitcoin. God knows how much adoption amplifier Ethereum from HEX. Like, you could have the Treasury wallet just sit there and maybe just move around just to get people excited a little bit. I don't think it's going to be one go. I don't think it's going to be like, oh yeah, I'm just going to deploy all ETH right now and give you one God candle so everyone can just exit. No, I don't think that's
that's going to be the case.
Yeah, it's all about the timing. If you did a God candle right now, it would probably get sold back down. I mean, we saw it get sold down in March.
Yeah.
And that was only $7 million, which pushed us over sacrifice rate, I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it was 7 million, I think.
Yep.
In March,
yeah. Yeah, exactly. And that seemed like a little test, like he was just testing the market to see how they would respond and react. And I think the market responds differently depending how the whole market is going. I think he probably knows once ETH is above sort of 4K, you're probably going to have a lot less people even selling into big candles because everyone just believes, okay, the party is just getting started, and people start to believe again, and pumping into the markets when there's already bullish momentum is going to have a way greater effect than doing it when we're sort of just moving sideways and everyone's just sort of building up their bags.
Yeah. And a lot of people have similar plans, perhaps with their own meme coins. I won't mention any names, but I like Most and I like Top Hat. So, hey, Johnny so Chaos says we just, I'm sure you do as well, right? Johnny Chaos says we need positive daily delta. Yeah, 10% a day for 300 days does something crazy if you actually do the math on it.
Compound interest.
It's not going to be a perfect straight line up either. We're going to have 50% pullbacks along the way. People are going to come in. They're going to ask why the price is dumping. When we're up 20x and we go down a little tiny bit, they're going to complain that the price is dumping. But you guys that have been here the whole time, we're forged in fire. I don't think we can be shaken out at this point.
Well, that's it. I mean, could you imagine if say, next month there was a similar article as what was written about Charles Hoskinson today about the whole,
I'm giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Me too.
Yeah.
But I think like the PulseChain community, if that was written about, Richard, they'd be like, nah. And Richard would be like, eh. Oh, yeah. Like, we've been through everything. Like, that's nothing.
Yeah. It's you ever see the movie 8 Mile?
Yeah.
Eminem. It's like the ending scene when it's like he's like, go ahead and tell them something they don't know about me. And it's like he hands him the mic. He got nothing left to say. Yeah.
That's so true. I love that. Great reference. We're definitely at that stage with PulseChain for sure.
I mean, yeah. Oh, Richard's a scammer. Okay, buddy. It's not for you. Yeah. The final boss is probably the SEC. Interpol is like Temu, FBI. I don't know what else can happen. Now, let's not speak too soon because, of course, like watch something terrible comes out of no. But like, I really don't think anybody can do anything. What do you think?
No, I think we're pretty impervious at this stage. I think there's only really space for good news now. Like from where we've come from, I don't want to jinx it, but I feel that we've come through the worst of it, and I think any other like little blows, we've built up that scar tissue now. We're not going to really feel it. We're like you said, we were born in the flames of Mordor. So
yeah,
good.
No, absolutely, absolutely.
Fire.
It's been a crazy road. 2 years, maybe 3 years now since the top. September 2021, and here we are. But a lot of other stuff is down too. If you're not winning in the meme coin casino, which barely anybody is, maybe if you're in a cabal on Solana, you've done okay. A lot of people are in the same boat, and at least we actually believe in something here, other than whatever the meme of the day is on the culture casino. It's kind of it's so draining, isn't it?
It is. And like you said, it is that we are in that PvP kind of stage at the moment where people are just, going between different projects within the same ecosystem. But yeah, it's not going to have, it's not going to always be like that. Like you said, when retail comes, there's just going to be so many people, in this that all the other noise will just drown out, and it'll be hard to actually even keep up with the energy and the new people and everything coming in. So, yeah, and with that as well, I mean, with more people also becomes more scammers, and so definitely everyone practice good safety, get a cold wallet, make sure you don't keep put it in a safe as well. Don't have it like lying around your house, because you often hear when people think they've been hacked, it's like, you know, they've had a birthday party or something and someone's just, you know, snuck into their room and you know, stolen their seed phrase of their cold wallet because it hasn't been properly secured. So always, best practices.
Yeah, be careful out there, guys. Don't move to France. Allegedly, a lot of these things have been happening in these wrench attacks. It's not good, but protect yourself. I'm not a big 2FA supporter, but I am a supporter. I think if guns are legal, everybody needs to have one, at least in the USA. But also just don't dox yourself. Don't flash your wealth, and just generally don't ever store things online, because just as much as like you hear about the wrench attacks in the news because they make headlines. But everybody I know personally that's had anything bad happen is because of malicious software, or they clicked the wrong link, or they just fell for like a social engineering kind of scam.
Yeah, exactly. It's usually when they're on little sleep. You know, they're up at like, you know, 3 a.m. looking at charts, freaking out, and they want that, you know, something that, you know, probably seems too good to be true, and they click it because they think, oh yeah, I'm going to be first onto this, and it's always a time sensitive thing, like, oh, like this is minting out now, or this is happening, and that's, you know, that plays on people's emotions to be first, and they get drained. But yeah, well, stay safe.
We all make mistakes. I've probably lost thousands of dollars. I mean, even this cycle, just doing like the wrong, like, oh, I bridged to the wrong address and now I can never get that money back or something. And usually I was just tired, you know, up late. And you reminded me of a stat where it's, you know, like 24 hours without sleep is like the same thing as having like a blood alcohol level of almost like you drank 3 beers or something, or 2 beers.
Yeah. It gets wild. Yeah, sleep deprivation is pretty hectic. That's why it's a form of torture for people, is because it's so horrible.
Did you have to do any of that yourself in the military?
Yeah, like I didn't get tortured, like, or not. Like, not.
Well, I mean, with sleep deprivation.
I've done sleep deprivation on.
Let's relive all that
exercises. Let's bring that up. You know what? To be honest though, like you end up just going into a zone. You're with your best mates, and you know you end up having a bit of a laugh about it because you're going a little bit crazy in your own head. You start seeing things. You start hearing contact when it's not happening, and it definitely plays on your mind. But you know, you're all the better for it. It sets you up nicely for crypto.
Who needs drugs, right? Just
I've got a few of my veteran mates actually into PulseChain and HOG as well. So,
good.
Yeah, it's good.
A lot of vets in crypto, I think. There's literally a guy named Vets in Crypto. He's got a YouTube channel.
Yeah, I've seen him. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it's great. It's great to see. I think. Yeah.
What's that in the background there? I'm sorry. I'm just looking at your not only that, but right next to it. Yeah.
Oh, this is a going away present when I left my main unit. I won't say what unit. That's probably a bit too high level doxing. But that was from when I left the Australian Army.
Cool, man.
Yeah,
I almost thought it was a YouTube award, but now much different.
Oh no, I don't think I'm gonna have a YouTube award. What do I have? Like 100 subscribers? Like
oh, come on, guys, like and subscribe. Go now.
No, we definitely get a lot more traction when we post the chapters on X. Like I think some of them got over 10,000 views now. So yeah, for some reason the algorithm on X just loves it so much more. Obviously, crypto Twitter is huge, probably a lot bigger, and YouTube just seems to not give you much if you're just starting out. Like you obviously get a lot of traction, but you've been doing this for a long time and very consistent.
Believe in myself. You know, it's the YouTube money is never really enough to live off of. It's good. It helps pay like maybe 1 or 2 bills. You know, it's good, but we're in this niche that it does have a high CPM, meaning people pay more to advertise on money related channels because they know people are looking for how to make money. But I think if you're going to start YouTubing as, you know, a way to make money just off the YouTube alone, like unless you're getting millions of views, it's not a full-time job. You got to find other ways to do it. For me, that's crypto investing.
Yeah. I mean, when retail gets here, maybe you will get millions of views.
We'll see. I hope
crazy
so.
Network effect. You definitely like are capturing huge mind share of the existing, you know, PulseChain ecosystem already. So I think that's going to be amplified when retail arrives. So it's exciting.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also, I wanted to know, what do you think about your character design? Have you seen your character?
I like mine. He's always holding a pot of coffee or a cup of coffee.
Exactly. So, have you watched One Piece?
I've watched the Genesis and A Shocking New Friend.
Okay, because there's basically a character in One Piece called Sanji, and he's always like smoking a cigarette. Even if he's in the middle of a fight, he'll be smoking a cigarette. Gets kicked in the head, he still keeps the cigarette. So my idea for you is when you're fighting, you'll always be holding that coffee, never spilling it, even if you cop it kick to the head. You know,
Cool.
that's your big priority is keeping that coffee up. You're always caffeinated, so you're always high energy. And
Cool.
I gave you the twirly eyebrows from Sanji, but I might take them away.
I'm not. I guess I'm not that deep into the anime world. What is that one?
So that's One Piece. Is that anime Sanji from there?
Nah, I've never heard of it.
Okay. Never heard of her. No. A very popular character. He's a little bit. I haven't made you the same level of. He's very like obsessed with women in it, and sort of can probably, I don't know. He could be not. I wouldn't use the word cuck, but he's like he can be a little bit too soft. Whereas
so he's like Brock. He's like Brock from Pokemon.
Yeah, he's like Brock from Pokemon, exactly. But with you, I'm making you a bit more like a James Bond kind of character, where you're cool around women, and you know, you're not getting those big like love heart, bouncy toon eyes. You're a little bit more suave, a bit more of a gentleman towards them. You'll never fight a woman in the show. So
do people fight women?
Oh, in anime manga, dudes are always fighting girls in that. It's like the ultimate of like equality, if you want to call it that over there. But we're bringing you the old school gentlemanly class. I
love it
in this show. So yeah,
you're too good to me. Yeah,
say that now.
I see Hexy Bast. Yeah, when are you gonna kill me off at the end?
Yeah. Not for a long time. No. You might make it. You might get a happy ending, maybe. Not a Thailand one.
In more ways than one. Yeah.
Yeah.
I see Hexy Bastard in here. I see B-Roots in here. Conor McGregor. Who's the chick in the pink?
Oh, that's SJ. Oh, actually, this one?
Below.
Oh,
below
that. That's Iggy. That's Iggy Azalea.
Oh, no shit. God, I got to finish this. I've only watched a couple of these episodes here. So.
Yeah. B-Roots is there. Hexy Bastard and B-Roots are actually literally next to each other, if you can see there.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, Teddy Bear. Yeah, the big bosses.
Well, that's going to be interesting because the Teddy Bear here has a different character design to both original Teddy and Teddy Takeover. So I guess the community can decide which Teddy that Teddy is.
Is it how different is Teddy Takeover versus like the actual mascot? Because I've been seeing very similar memes, right? It's just a.
It's like a cute plushy teddy bear. I think the sunnies are different with the star in the sunnies. A little bit different of a website design. I think the new Teddy smokes a cigar. I don't think the old Teddy did. So maybe he's bringing a bit more like suaveness to it. I'm not sure, but. Yeah, I don't want to make comment on Teddy versus Teddy, or Teddy Bear versus Teddy, whatever it is. We'll let the community, decide it, and maybe it'll build up both projects. Maybe both of them will do really well.
The only reason I'm taking a side in that is because I figured it mostly relies on B-Roots chilling, and if he says Teddy's the new Teddy, like. I'll probably just go, if I was going to choose one, which I'm currently not, but if I was, probably go with the new one. That also isn't tied to whatever else that was.
Run with King of the Moon.
What?
Nothing. Moon King. King of the Moon.
Oh, King of the Moon.
Yeah.
All right.
Terrible. Oh, yeah.
Metallic.
My jokes in real life are much worse than when the jokes that are in the Manga chapter, just for people's reference. Don't judge me on that one.
Oh, God.
Actually, Kix is saying there in the chat, Vitalic semen retention episode is the one. So I think that was chapter 8. So yeah, you might have to check out that one. That actually features RG3, SJ, Hexy Bastard, Tangent, obviously Vitalik, and they're trying to figure out a way how to send Ethereum up by getting Vitalik to retain his semen. So that's quite a humorous episode, that one.
That's what we really need, isn't it? Vitalik's got to stop jerking it.
Exactly. It's the key to break the next level.
Wild SJ says she appreciates you asking her for permission before using it. Yeah, you asked me for permission as well. I really don't care what you do with my likeness as long as it's not libelous or slanderous, for the record, right? Like, it's
sorry, yeah. It was just waving to someone.
Oh, it's all good.
Yeah, no, I appreciate that. I hit up pretty much everyone who I was putting in as at least as a sort of main character on there. I hit up some people I didn't get responses from, so I wasn't sure. I was like, oh well, I'll just include them anyway. And then if they decide they really don't like it, then they can tell me, and then I can just kill off their character. Easy.
Yeah, you're good, man. We probably have gotten a lot worse.
I think any woman, any lady that we bring into the chain, I'll always ask them first if they're okay with it. And SJ was really cool because she actually had input into her character design. We actually, I sent her lots of options of how Nico Robin in One Piece looks like, and I was like, which one do you like? And she's like, oh, definitely the cowgirl outfit. So yeah.
Nice, man. Yeah, Shell Fox says I need to check this out. Johnny Chaos says, what is the link to the dude's anime? In my description below, sir. It's called HeartWifDog. Kind of like dog with hat.
Johnny. Yeah, that's the little play there.
Yeah. So what else, man? What's going on? How are you? You seem to be in a good mood and surviving the bear market and staying focused on other stuff.
Yeah, I great people around me. I live in a beautiful part of the world besides us losing our freedoms. If I just ignore that and just focus on the sunshine and the beach, things are pretty good. Just really enjoying the process of this. I guess because it's such a creative project, it's like I was saying before, it's easy just to not focus too much on the charts and you can still have a lot of fun with it even when the price is down. Not to say that I want the price to stay down forever, and we have bounced off the lows nicely, but it helps you sort of step away from that when you just focus on the creative content side of things, building the community. And I think the one cool thing about our project is it only really takes one person on the outside to see their character, love it, and to send things viral. I'm not saying Conor McGregor, who's in the last chapter, is going to all of a sudden come in and share it, but we're going to share so many people that eventually someone will. We've got more UFC fighters being incorporated into the story. Obviously, you can see Ian is there as well, and I heard Chael Sonnen is into PulseChain. Have you heard that?
Who? Chael
Sonnen. He's an ex-UFC fighter. He has one of the biggest UFC podcasts, The Bad Guy. But I've heard that he is, so I'm going to write him into the story in a bit of a funny way. Israel Adesanya is going to be written into the story as well. He loves anime and manga. If you know Israel Adesanya, previous champ in the UFC middleweight champ. So just takes I've got a few connections of people who know these people. So I'm hoping that if I can just get one of them to just be like, oh, this is sick, share it. And then we can get a whole new influx of eyes that have never seen PulseChain, maybe never even seen crypto.
Well, that's a good idea. Yeah, just targeting people from outside, from totally different. I hear, pretty sure this is true. The guitarist from Korn is a PulseChain fan. You might want to, you could add people that already like PulseChain. I think even the drummer from Limp Bizkit. I know it's super random, not the most famous guy in the world, but these are semi-famous people that are. That know about PulseChain. And especially if you go back to the last cycle. Yeah. During the last cycle with HEX, we had some more famous people coming out of the woodwork and saying things about it. Even, what was that one podcast that Miguel Dollar Cost Crypto got us on? It was some really famous podcast with maybe the HOG twins or something.
Oh, with the HOG twins. Oh, really? I haven't seen that one. I'll actually have to go back and check that out.
No, I could be wrong there, but
Miguel's cool though. I like listening to his podcast, and often it's not even just about crypto. Like he's giving out like supplement recommendations and things like that. But he's a great dude. He was actually talking the other day about what kind of animated character he'd like to be. So playing with some designs there.
He'd be a good character.
BDSM shirt, the bench, deadlift, squat, military press. So,
that's good.
Yeah, man. But it's cool. Characters evolve, and I'm looking forward to seeing how your character evolves in the story. You're going to get a big background chapter where you get a origin story soon. I think it's chapter 18.
Hell yeah.
You come into it, and I think that backstory, people are going to like fall in love with your character, even if it's someone outside of PulseChain who doesn't know any PulseChain KOLs. You're going to have a lot of fans, I think.
Sick. I can't wait. That's so cool. Hey, Turkey is here. Went to see Korn in 2017. I actually love Korn. Yeah. DWB featured in PulseChain anime. Yes, it was. It was great to see. Fantastic.
Oh man, that reminds me of like early teenage years, like playing Tony Hawk and listening to Korn. That's what I think about when I think about like.
Oh yeah.
Being 12, 13.
That was the best soundtrack. It's like where basically all my music taste stems from. Tony Hawk's Underground.
Yeah.
SSX, the snowboarding one. Remember?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. That was sick.
Dope soundtrack.
100%. I think there's a way we could bring those guys actually into the story. I was thinking you could have them as like a vampire group, like Lestat, like from, is it Queen of the Dawn or Queen of the Dead or whatever it is, where it's like the vampires in a rock band. So that'd be a cool way to incorporate it into the story. I think they just come out and kill everyone.
You're the mastermind here. So I'm just shooting ideas. Oh, Fresh and Fit was the podcast. Yeah, I think it's
Fresh and Fit. Okay.
Good strategy though. Anybody that even shows the most smallest interest in PulseChain, you can make them a character. Who knows? People like seeing themselves. I mean, everyone's a little narcissistic. I mean, let's face it.
Exactly, and you can make them bigger than themselves in real life. Like, you can make them a much larger than life character. And people, I think you're right. People love that. Like, Dragon Ball Z turned a whole generation of people into working out and lifting weights because they saw something like that was bigger than them, and that they wanted to aspire to, even though it's not humanly possible without the best genetics in the world and about I don't know, all the trend in the world too.
Yeah, that was the real power up. Just not.
That was the real power up. Yeah,
we were sleeping on it the whole time. Man, so what else we've done an hour. Let's wrap it up and leave the people with maybe a little bit of something optimistic to look forward to, or more about what you're working on. Whatever.
Yeah, well, in terms of HOG, I think the optimistic thing is just it's sort of like the character loop of like, the fact that as more and more characters come in, there's more and more chances that those characters will want to share the content in and outside of PulseChain. So there's more chance of, building mindshare within PulseChain, but also more chance of building mindshare outside of PulseChain and bringing new users in. And I think if you're here right now and you're looking at your bags and you're like, we're still under SAC price, you're looking at if you were holding HEX last cycle and you're looking at price and you're like, I can't believe we haven't broken all-time highs yet, or even got close to that. I think stay patient, stay optimistic, because I think it's often the projects that pump the hardest. It's the projects that have been, consolidating, going down, shaking out weak hands for the longest. And can you name a chain that has been, getting the most shakeouts than PulseChain? Can you name a chain that's been gatekept more than PulseChain and HEX? Can you name a chain where the founder has been, silenced for so long as PulseChain and HEX? I can't. And so when we've come this far through all that negativity, there's really only optimism and growth left. And I think all the people who've stuck through this are going to be rewarded through, having that strong mindset, through having that conviction. And, it's a big thank you to people like you, Crypto Coffee, who have actually kept people engaged this whole time, because if there's no news, that's when people start to have head noise. And that's when people start to question things even more, because they're not hearing this positive information from people like yourself, either from B-Roots, Somi, hexologists, all the dirty turkey run around in a dick with butt, blowing stuff up, all this kind of stuff. The real hero. This is all like positive stuff that's helping balance people's emotions when they're getting down, and I think we're due to be rewarded.
Yeah, well said, man. Everybody go follow HeartWifDog on Twitter, HeartWifDog.com. Yeah, we've got all the mind share that we need. So when prices come back, I really do believe we're in the right place. I wouldn't be here otherwise. I know you wouldn't either. Like and subscribe. See you on the next one.
Thanks so much for having me.